was the announcement that we brought you from the presidency, where President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo announced that COP Asante Apietu will now act as the Inspector General of Police. He replaces IGP John Kudalo, who is going on retirement as well. So he has resigned his position. And so the breaking news is that the president has named an acting IGP in the person of COP Asante Apietu. You're still here on the Joy News channel. We're bringing you the preview edition of Inside AFCON. And here with me in the studio are Coach DeGraft Johnson and Nana Ajiman. We're taking a look at the game at a very close range. And of course, we're going to go into the general head-to-head of Ghana versus Egypt. Not necessarily the tournament, but generally, you know. So both sides have played 6 matches against each other in all competitions, and Egypt has secured 3 wins, and there's 1 draw between the 2 sides, and you know, 2 defeats against Ghana. So 3 against 2 in terms of the head-to-head. So this should be the next. This should be the 3rd. So it puts Ghana and Egypt at par.
Yeah, it puts the stats at a different level. But 3 against 2, I'll say nothing to write home about. Personally, I think they should just forget the stats, just get on, do the job, do the business. And you'll find that we who sit in the studio or the statisticians worry about those things more than the players themselves. They will watch the videos, whatever, they'll watch their performance, but psychologically, it's not good to be a player, professional player, and go onto the pitch with those stats in your mind. You've got to look at what your game plan is and how you and your team intend to win the game. All right.
Earlier, Nanajima was making mention of, a player like Bernard Tepete, who he thinks should be given the opportunity because he will bring a certain level of bite. Is there any other player on the bench who you feel we should have in this game to push it?
I would say, again, don't force it. There's no other player that I would put in. Personally, you've got your first 11. They've won 2 games, maximum points. Performance hasn't been fantastic. Whoever comes in has to come in later. Can't start the game. I wouldn't start off with a new player. I would say kick off with the team that you've played, and then possibly whoever you feel is on the bench that needs to come in, bring them in. But I think the subs that have come on so far have been fine.
All right, so key players to look out for in Egypt, definitely it's the man Mohamed Salah. So far he's played 167 minutes, 39 passes, 73.1% accuracy, and he's done only 2 shots. So not too much to worry about in terms of the kinds of shots that he's going to give. He's covered 17.6 kilometers so far since he started playing at AFCON 2017.
His performances have been superb, though. You know, he's the player that all the teams look out for. I mean, for me, he's been the ultimate professional. And if you watch a lot of the positive plays from Egypt, he's been at the end of them. He's either the one that starts it off, or he gives off the final pass for the goal. I think his performances have been brilliant so far.
All right, so Mohamed Salah there. Let's also take a look at Asamoah Gyan. If he scores today, then he'll be hitting his 50th for the Black Stars, and that, I guess, will make him Ghana's all-time top scorer for the era that preceded his generation. There was not much in terms of record keeping. So far in this era, it's Asamoah Gyan who we can confidently say has scored the most number of goals for the Black Stars team. So he's played 156 minutes, total passes 33, passing accuracy 76.4. He's done 3 shots and he's scored 1 so far. That beautiful header against Mali. Well, he's covered 16.2 kilometers so far. All right, so these are, the key players to look out for 2 sides. Definitely Asamoah Gyan, definitely a Mohamed Salah. We'll be looking at the events of 1992 and what you two remember of that game, Ghana versus Egypt. We'll do that in a bit, but messages are coming in now, and we'd like to share some of them as we go along. Now, there's a message from Joseph Nunu, and he says that I want the Black Stars to win this game by 2-0 to silence the Egyptians once and for all. There's another one from Nana Yao Kusi. Nana Yao Kusi says, it's going to be a tough game, but the least I'm expecting from the Black Stars is a draw. All right. Thank you very much. There is another one from Daniel Safo. Daniel Safo says, Ghana 3, Egypt 2. Okay. He's expecting a 5-goal thriller there. All right. Let's do another one. Kosi Adadevo says, well, since it's a 100% performance we are looking for, I want the Black Stars to win by just 1-0. All right, thank you very much, Kosi Adadevo. We'll do a round of commercials, and after that, we get into the memories from the 1992 clash between Ghana and Egypt.
Now that the group phase has almost wrapped up and the boys have been separated from the men, I am expecting some 8 coaches at least to tender their resignation. Algeria coach George Leekens has paved way for more potential resignations after his team's early exit. Admirable, isn't it? The 67-year-old Belgian, who was appointed only last October, was tasked to take Algeria deep into the latter stages at least in Gabon, coaching a side that contains BBC and CAF African Footballer of the Year, Riyad Mahrez, and his Leicester teammates Islam Slimani, Porto's Yassin Brahimi, and Napoli's Fauzi Ghulam. But the team underperformed at the tournament, beginning their Group B matches with a shock 2-2 draw with Zimbabwe, followed by 2-1 defeats by their North African neighbors Tunisia, and then a 2-2 draw against a reserve Senegal side. Leekens was Algeria's 3rd coach in a year, following on from Milovan Rahebac and Christian Goku.
Your messages are still coming in on our various platforms. Eric K. Buffo on our Facebook wall says, some players are on the bench but are very good, even better than the first 11. It's just that their names are not as big as Asamoah and Co. They should be given a chance to play. Hashtag One Goal Project. Justice Kwame Ofosuhene says, Nat, greetings. The Black Stars bench is not the best. I wish them the very best of luck. Ghana will win 3 goals. Jude Etim, I hope I pronounced the name properly. The injury, he's asking about Babar Aman's injury. Well, Babar Aman is effectively out of the tournament, and he will be receiving treatment, so he cannot play in the tournament. Umar Farouk says, we are expecting nothing but a win. Okay. There's another one from Susan Lawrence, and she says, go Ghana, and she's placed a smiley of someone holding a Ghana, banner. Nana Kwesi Durkheim says a good performance, especially at Chu. He's expecting a good performance from the Black Stars. Matthew Imboune says money team must have forget about them. Okay, so Matthew Imboune, what has happened, I hope that you've heard that the Black Stars have had their bonuses slashed by 50%, and a certain formula, standard formula has been prescribed. They have agreed to it, so they're not receiving what used to be the case, the $15,000 and the $17,000. This time, it's $5,000 per game in the group stage, and it increases a bit as they go ahead. So you'd have to get that one right there. All right, gentlemen. When we were off, you were struggling to remember anything from the 1992 tournament. Cool.
Yes, at that time I was in UK, so we used to catch 1 or 2 games here and there on the channel. We have Channel 4. And, as Nana reminded me, it used to be on about 1 o'clock in the morning or whatever. So you just catch a few games.
What about you, Nana?
I think I just finished Southwark University at the time, so I was still in the UK.
Well, I was way younger. I watched that game on national television, and the rights were bought by 90 minutes, and sometimes when you didn't have when the game elapsed and it had to go into extra time, you had to rely on some amount of commentary and all of that. But of course, you had to switch over on your television and see if you could catch some French channels who had the game live. But it was great to see Tony Yeboah score a goal in injury time to secure that place in the semi-final for the Black Stars. It was such a big game, and the tension was very, very high at that time. But the man Tony Yeboah, who was then spearheading attack, scored that goal. That's what I remember from that game. A great win indeed, there's no doubt about that. Let's also now throw a bit of the focus on Uganda, who will be going up against Mali. Of course, Uganda will be playing for pride. Mali, well, they will be looking forward to the calculations as well. All right, so gentlemen, Uganda playing Mali. Uganda, you know, they've been here. They've tasted the action at the tournament. They don't have anything to lose.
Well, they're out of it, aren't they? They're out of it. And look, let's be honest, Mali is out of it as well. I mean, they're both playing for pride for me. Uganda's on the bottom of the table and Mali's just above them. And, I mean, who's the strongest? I mean, we've really got to wait and see. They both play a similar type of football. They've got, you know, tall players who are strong, lots of stealth, but there's no science in their game as such. And the tactics and, you know, their technical ability isn't, you know, it isn't 9 out of 10. It's going to be a robust fixture. It's going to be very physical. And it's difficult to say who's going to win. But I don't think that Mali has a chance of remotely being qualifying into the quarterfinal or anything. So to me, they're just both playing for pride.
But the maths actually is such that if Mali were to spank Uganda and Black Stars were to beat Egypt, the mathematics changes.
Well, I mean, we looked at maths yesterday. Yeah. Was Pythagoras' theorem, if you remember.
But Mali,
nothing changed.
I think Mali could go through. Mali can go through. And I can see...
On goal difference.
Yes, I can see Mali giving Uganda a whopping spanking. The Malians, they're not the best, but we were discussing about how teams go down and they come back up again. They're not a bad team. They're not a tournament-winning ready team. But I think that in the next tournament, this same Malian team are going to be pretty strong because they're quite young. They're quite young. Yeah. And a lot of them have come from their under-20s, which were a very, very good under-20s team. So I think the Malians today, they're going to go out there to give Uganda a mighty spanking. And Uganda now, they don't want to go out of the tournament at the bottom, do they?
Oh, well, they're out anyway.
but still, pride is a very powerful thing. They've got to go home.
Yeah, they haven't been here since the 70s. It's been a while.
For me, if I was a Ugandan, I'll be fighting like crazy.
Well, it's a learning curve, though, isn't it, for them?
It's a learning curve, but once you're there, some will not be here for the next tournament. So this could be your last. So play like this is your last tournament. Win or lose, pride, I think, for them is a major factor. And I think Mali can go through with the help of the Black Stars.
Okay. Are you expecting that much in terms of goals from the Black Stars game?
Well, if you see, if Egypt dictate the game, then the game's going to be open, because you can't close up against Egypt if they're playing an open game, because that means you're going to concede all the possession to them, and you're going to constantly be under attack, and 1 or 2 mistakes, and they can be goals. So if the Egyptians start playing their usual fluid football and making the game open, they're also going to have to respond in likewise manner. So we could see a couple of goals go in either side very easily.
I see a possible 3-goaler. Black Stars coming out 2-1 on top.
Very easily. Very easily.
Okay, but so there's a 1-goal margin between the two sides.
Yes,
that's
goals. I think goals will be scored. When Black Stars play the way they've been playing, they will lose a goal. It's guaranteed, because you living on the edge all the time. The opposition creating too many chances. Some of the chances that the opposition have missed out, Egypt to score. It's as simple as that. So, really, I'm quite sure that Black Stars will score, provided we put them under pressure. Because as I say, at the back, they're not fantastic.
No.
And their goalkeeper, I'll tell you honest truth, he is awful at crosses. He's not good with crosses at all. So I would say Black Stars get in there, get plenty of crosses. Their defenders are good, but the goalkeeper is in 2 minds. So put it in the mix, and I think some results can be achieved.
Well, you've got to pressure him, haven't you? You've got to pressure him.
Yeah. Talking about goalkeeping, tell me what you make in terms of the assessment of Razak Brahima so far.
Well, I think it's been good. I mean, I was against him being the #1 keeper because he hasn't played any games. But so far, he hasn't been bad at all. And I mean, we won both games, so I can hardly sit here and criticise his performance, because how many goals has he let in so far? None.
Yeah.
None.
So
it's been good.
what I've seen is that he's a very shot-stopping. You know, there's been instances when he saved us, saved the Black Stars, shot-stopper. A few crosses, he's still in two minds about crosses. So I think that is what I worry about. If the Egyptians go on to a crossing game, I worry about Razak.
Yeah, I do remember one game. He came, he half came, and then he decided he would go back. And yeah, he's got to be quite decisive, because when the keeper goes, there's only one result, and that is the keeper gets the ball. Anything else, and the ball can be anywhere, and could be somewhere where you don't want it to go. So he's got to be very decisive when he comes out to collect on crosses. He must make contact. If he's not catching, he's got to have a strong fist to push that away.
But this decision is the operative word.
Yeah.
He must decide, and that's been the problem. In being in two minds as a goalkeeper, when the corner or a cross is coming over, it's not good.
Yeah, it's not good.
All right, so goalkeeper Razak Brahima, you know, under the spotlight there. So these are images on your screen from the last training session held by the Black Stars team. Gentlemen, and over 2 games, who have been your superb performers in the Black Stars team? I mean, so far, who would you give individual credit to? I mean, it's a team effort, but in terms of individual brilliance, who would you single out?
I get a problem when you say superb and individual brilliance. But who?
Nobody has been able to reach that.
Not superb, not individual brilliance. But Partey for me has been good. I like the way Partey has played football, and also Amati has also been good. And part of it is because their mentality isn't the same as the rest of the boys. Andre Ayew has had his challenges, being sick and all that kind of stuff, and he hasn't really shone as brightly as we know he can. But I reckon Partey has been good, and I reckon Amati has been good. Yes, Achu has done 1 or 2 things, and he's created some chances, and I like that. I doubt his consistency. That's what I've got a problem on, because first 10 minutes he can shine, and then he goes somewhere else for the next 40, 50 minutes. We need that consistency, especially down the right-hand flank. I think he should continue as an unorthodox right winger, because that's where he causes a lot of problem. But he's got to be consistently causing that problem for me to say, yeah, Christian Achu. But I think Partey has been good because he's been able to gather the ball in the middle of the park, and he's quite astute. He knows when to take the ball, when to carry the ball 20 or 30 yards, instead of trying to distribute the ball. He chops the space, and then he looks to make the pass. And I quite like that. Unlike Wakasu, who his only contribution really is banging a 60-yard ball across to the right, or a 70-yard. And sometimes he doesn't get those right. And so we lose possession. And I think he's got to offer a bit more to the game than, okay, yeah, I can kick the ball for a good distance, so let me do a 60-yard pass over here or 70-yard pass over there. So for me, it's been Partey, and I think he should have been man of the match on both occasions. But they gave it to Christian Achu the first match, and then Partey got the man of the match the second occasion. I think he deserved the man of the match for both those matches.
Sure. The strikers always get it. It's just that I thought Manuel Neuer was the best player in the World Cup, basically. I thought he should have got player of the World Cup, because he took goalkeeping to the books, you know, perfect goalkeeping. And the same way you get that Christian Achu will get it, because he's up front, more likely to score goals. Personally, I quite like Wakaso. I agree with him about his passing. He needs to, but the number of balls that he breaks, number of attacks, you need that bulldog mentality in that midfield. And I think that Wakaso has done it. And if he can improve by better passing, or better still, don't just go into long passing. Win the ball, do it short. You know, do it short, to a player who can make better use of the ball. I think that will be much better. I would say, create a bit of a laugh here, Jordan. Personally, you know, just purely on stats, I'm not a Jordan fan, but purely on stats, the number of attacks that he's instigated, the number of possible goals and strikes and goal that he's created, you got to keep him in. And bring him off if he gets tired and he's not producing those chances anymore. What he's got to do is, when he beats the player, gets to the byline, his decision making's got to be a lot better. Or it could be the other players have got to position themselves better. But I think that if he continues to beat the defenses, get the ball to the byline and cut it back like that, I think quite a few goals could be scored from it. He's got the speed. So make the best of it.
All right, so those are the thoughts from here in the studio. Thank you all very much for your thoughts. We will wrap it up here, and just remember that we are in a thick football season. There's a lot to be won in the Total AFCON instant win, and from now till February 6th when the tournament ends, just drive to the nearest Total service station, buy a minimum amount of 50 Ghana cedis fuel with cash or with your Total card for your car. And of course, if it's your motorbike and it's 20 Ghana cedis, and you get a Total scratch card and scratch it, and what you see is what you win. It's as simple as that. So the goodies, they range from branded footballs to caps to jerseys, key rings, and many more. And so what you see is what you get. It's like scoring a goal with an empty goal post. Of course, you can win loads and loads of goodies, remember, in the Total AFCON instant win. Well, so remember that terms and conditions apply, and you'd have to see press and posters for details. Total is a partner for African football. We say thank you once again to Total Ghana, committed to better energy. Pepsi, there for more, is still 1 Ghana cedi. And also NIIT Ghana, Total Computer Education. I'll be back later this evening after all is done in Group D for the review edition of the show. My name is Nathaniel Atto, and I have love for sport.